What's up, Nickel City Mafia? NFL football season is right around the corner, and it is time to practice, 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 like Allen Iverson said. Jeremy, what's up tonight? You ready for this?
Dude, I'm excited. It's finally football season. The fantasy football's begun. We're still in preseason, but we're getting close to opening week. This is great. I'm pumped to get a real team going tonight. See what we can do.
So tonight, what we're going to do for those tuning in is we are going to do this is a real money draft, and we are doing best ball. So we're going to do 18 rounds of draft, one QB, two running backs, three wide receivers, a flex, a tight end, and then nine bench spots. So basically, the way best ball works is once this draft is over, this league is locked. No drops, no pickups, no trades, no, oh, damn, that player got hurt. It is what it is, guys. So those that draft on Underdog, you're probably going to be very familiar with this. Same lineup settings and same rules as they have there. And yeah, so this is our one shot to get a winning team. We all bought in $20. That's $240 in the pot. We're going to do 200 to the winner and $40 for second place. And yeah, this is cutthroat. No, there's no friends here on this stream tonight. We're all going for that first place. But Jeremy, how many drafts have you done so far in preparation for this season?
Best ball drafts? I
Yeah.
don't know. I got to be close to like 150 at this point.
So you're our seasoned vet here. I've probably done about 30 or 40 so far on Underdog, so I'm getting the hang of it. But yeah, I think we're ready to get right into it. Let me see. Mike says I sound echoey, so let's try to talk into the mic a little better. Mike, let me know if that's any better. Anyway, so everyone signed on except for one person, but I think we're just going to go ahead and get to it. So Jeremy has the third pick. I have the 12th pick. And what we're going to do is every couple of rounds, we're going to stop and just critique everyone's picks and, let you guys know how terrible you're doing so far. So without further ado, let's get going.
All right. So I got to say, drafting from the start of the draft, I think like towards the beginning of the 12 is a huge advantage this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the top 7 and even like as far back as 9, you just have better players there. Because once you get to like 10, 11, 12, those back kind of areas, it's kind of the same guys that you're going to find towards like the end of the second almost. It's like a really big tier of players. So yeah. I'm pumped to get number 3. Sorry, you're stuck at 12 back there.
I know. I think you raised this a little bit, but yeah, I'm with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd almost say for me, there's a big 8. I like the first 8 guys. I think I'm happy with any one of them. We're gonna have an auto pick on pick 1. I feel like this happened last year.
Yeah, well, we'll shoot him a message and see what's up. That's all right. It's not a bad auto pick at Christian McCaffrey there. You can't get mad at that one.
Yeah. So, CMC was kind of the slam dunk number 1 pick for, I feel like the whole offseason, but now you're seeing some people take him, move CD or Tyreek up to number 1. Where are you at if you have the number 1 pick? Are you still taking CMC? Or are you worried about
I think it's CMC. Like I know he's like a little hurt, but he comes back, and they're saying he's probably going to be good to go week 1. They're not promising anything, but it seems like he's going to be okay, and he can win you your league easy. He just goes off every week. The CeeDee Lamb stuff, if you want to take CeeDee Lamb over him, I'm okay with it. I think this holdout is not a big deal. They're going to pay him. They have to. And Jerry Jones pays players. He just takes his time about it and says weird things to the media about it, but which would make no sense. Doesn't help his case. But I think he's going to be fine. The player I'm worried about, honestly, is Jamar Chase. I've been like looking a little bit into that story with like the Bengals, how they run their operations. And apparently they're super old school. They do not like to make deals in season. So if a deal doesn't get done for Jamar Chase and he holds out, which like there's a good chance he's going to, it could be bad for Jamar Chase owners. I'm still taking him like right there at like 107. I think that's great. I think it's value there, and you're
So
just hoping he doesn't miss a bunch.
hold on. Homer alert. We have a Homer alert. So
Oh
yeah,
man,
those that aren't familiar with this channel, this is a Bills Mafia channel. It's a Nickel City Mafia, and Bills fan CA, which is Mike Thornton, he runs the channel. Big Homer pick with Josh Allen in the first round. I would say, how early is too early to draft quarterback? Do you think like
so first round is too early. Sorry, Mike, but it's also though like pick your guys if you want your guys. It's okay, and he is out. He is the number one quarterback. I don't think it's close. I just think what he does on the ground makes up for a lot, and he's been in the top 3 quarterbacks the last like 3 years. Like you got to take him there. Not there. Sorry, you got to take him first quarterback overall. I think third round is where you can start to think about going quarterback. I prefer like 4th round if you want one of the top guys. I think 4th round is a good spot to grab a top like 3 to 5 QB.
Yeah. So thanks again for pick 12. I actually really hate this. I do think
on the corner
a top 4 pick is really ideal. I think there's definitely a big 4 this year. Top 8, I'm fine with. I think there's a big drop off after 8. Here, I value flexibility in kind of going through my first couple of rounds with players from different positions. So I am going to get a wide receiver and a running back here on the corner, like pretty much every time if I have like 11th or 12th pick, just because it doesn't put me down a hole of, I have to draft for need later. I really want to keep my options open. So I feel like my picks are going to be super boring here, but they're both going to be really high upside. Garrett Wilson is someone that, the dynasty community has been, drooling over for a couple years now. With Aaron Rodgers finally at the helm for this year, I really think Garrett Wilson is going to be his Devontae Adams type receiver. So really thinking that he's going to have a big year. And then next up, I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. Just an absolute, do it all running back on a top 3 to 5 offense, playing on turf. I just think the sky's the limit for him. I mean, I can easily see him being running back 2 or 3 this year.
You're not worried about the little injury lately?
No,
yeah,
not sweating
it. Dan Campbell's pretty upfront coach, and he's saying he'll be ready week 1. He thinks, and they're not making a big deal out of the injury. And he's not a coach known for lying, so I kind of trust that too. I think he's okay there. Also, I like the strategy. That was one of the things I was going to bring up is this year I'm kind of leaning towards the hero RB strategy. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's where you kind of take one running back in your first 3 picks, and then you fade the position until about round 7 or later. And that's when you take more running backs. And it just kind of gives you an advantage in the other positions, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, if you're taking some of those elite options. And the running back, we know the position's kind of fragile. We also know, like, historically, the top, 7-8 guys usually stay in the top 7-8 every year, and they're worth that value. So I just kind of lean towards it.
I'm call me old school, call me what you want it, but I refuse to leave a fantasy draft without one running back that I can really lean on. And I know the cool thing recently is, just load up on receivers. But I really think if you just completely fade running back, you're almost like you're needing something to break right for you. You're needing to like have a handcuff running back that ends up being the guy on your team. And I just don't want to plan for that to happen. So yeah, call me old school, call me boring, but I'm still a big early running back guy. As you can probably tell from my dynasty teams that we play together, you generally have way better wide receivers than I do, and I have better running backs than you do. So that's kind of
true.
Yeah,
I do love wide receivers. And I got to say, I was hoping one guy would drop to me. He's on my like target list this year. Is Devon Achane I really gamble. I think it's a great pick there at the 2.6. I just think he's one of those guys like CMC. He can blow up and win you your league. I know there's Mostert there. I know they drafted Jalen Wright, but Achane is just his explosive talent. It's something that Mike McDaniels likes to use, and I'm all about grabbing him this year. In like usually you can get him in the late second round. He goes a little early there at 2.6, but like I said, I like it. I think it's a great pick. I kind of like him a little better. Definitely like him better than Kyron, and I think he's a little better than Saquon Barkley, who I'm a little worried about. Saquon maybe losing goal line carries to the tush push because the tush push works, and they're not going to stop doing it if it works. But I'm up here, and the running backs I wanted are mostly all off the board, so I think I'm going to do a little best ball strategy here and reach a bit at this next pick and just do some stacking. So
Wow.
for those of you guys that don't do a ton of, like, you're not a degenerate like me and do so much best ball, one of the best ball strategies you try to do is stack the players on the same team. It's kind of like betting on that team to just go off a lot. Miami has a great offense, so it's one that, you know, getting Tyreek at 3 and then getting Waddle, I'm okay taking him a little early.
Yeah. So everyone out there, someone else draft Tua. So
yeah, just totally messed up. No, but that's also something else you got to do when you're playing best ball. If you're going to stack, you have to just be okay with that happening. You don't need to get the stack, you know, and it's you don't want to reach too far or anything. It's okay when that kind of stuff happens.
okay, so made it through 2 rounds here, and just want to just do a quick recap. Take a look at the teams. And Jeremy, is there one that sticks out that you really like? One that sticks out that you really don't like so far?
It's still a little early. I think everybody's doing great. I got nothing bad except, you know, Bills fan took Josh Allen a little early there. But again, it's all right. But everything else, I don't see anything else too crazy going on. I think everybody's got some good strategies going. I think let's let it play out a little bit more, and we'll see how things start working out. Different strategies teams are using.
Cool. Yeah, I'm liking the Atlanta stack on
Yep,
MJ's team, Bijan and Drake London. That was pretty cool. And then
that's a good stack.
yeah, you have a stack going on. He has a stack going on, and then Gamble here with Chase and Achane. They're both just people that can go absolutely nuclear any given week. I like that. So
Yep.
let's keep it rolling.
So taking Bottle there in the second round, he's another player that I really like to target this year. If like you're doing a home draft, he's probably going third or maybe even fourth round. And I just think he's a steal in the third round anytime, especially past that. The talent is there. They like to use him. Last year was like a little bit of a down year, but he's going to bounce right back. And should anything happen to Tyreek, he's going to go off. So
Yeah,
it's just like all positives, in my opinion.
agree, man. He's a big play waiting to happen. So first tight end off the board here, our boy Tony. So Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelsey. So he's going to have some making up to do in the wide receiver department. This league is start 3 wide receivers and a flex with 1 tight end. So yeah, going to be really strong at running back and tight end, but definitely some work to do with receiver. And you see Cali Guy here just absolutely loading up on the receiver. So some differing strategies here. And let's see what you do.
Yeah. So like I said, I usually love going 0 running back. It's one of my favorite things to do. In this case, though, I feel like you kind of got to grab a running back in the first 3 rounds. So I'm going to go with a guy I like a lot in Isaiah Pacheco. I just think he's kind of the guy in Kansas City. He's on a great offense, and you try to look for players on great offenses. He's young. My favorite thing is everyone says he runs like he's angry at the ground, and it's just, you know, he's a great running back.
Yeah, man. I was waiting for someone to draft him to talk about him. I like him a
Yeah.
lot here. I mean, I think he's getting talked up constantly about his role in the pass game. We don't have to say anything more about how amazing that offense is. And if he's going to be used as a 3-down back, I mean, you're going to have a hard time convincing me he shouldn't have been picked up in the Barkley, Kyron Williams range, right? I mean, he has no competition for touches. Um, Kyron Williams could have competition for touches. A-Chain definitely has competition for touches. So yeah, I mean, I think Pacheco, if he does have a 3-down role in that offense, he's a screaming value right now.
And that's what you want in your RB number one. You want a guy who doesn't have the competition, where it doesn't have another guy getting drafted later. Like, for example, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's got David Montgomery getting drafted not too much later, usually like, around 7th round or so. But we like Gibbs' explosiveness and his talent there. It's kind of the same thing with A-Chain, where like the youth, the talent, how they use him, pass catching, those are things you want, and it makes up for having a teammate that's also very good at football. Whereas Kyron, he wasn't a great pop prospect. He wasn't supposed to be this good. Sean McVay loves to use the one running back, and he says he's going to keep doing that. But he also drafted Blake Corum. So like, I feel like that's telling us something else too. And you got to think that they want to give Kyron a little bit of rest. They used the crap out of him, and he got a little banged up. So it makes sense they'd bring Blake Corum in for a change of pace. But he's like the same kind of back.
I know they're like spitting image of each other, which is pretty wild. Sean McVay has a type, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. If I was Gamble here, I would smash Laporta so hard.
So that's one of the things this year. Tight ends are going a little later than they did last year. We saw Kelsey go sometimes in the 1st round last year or 2nd round. So these
wasn't he going like 6th or 7th overall?
Yeah, sometimes people were grabbing them early, and now they've everyone adjusted because last year they weren't really scoring that many points where they should be going there. And tight ends have adjusted this year. And one of the strategies I think for redraft for best ball this year is grabbing one of these elite top 5 tight ends. And here we go with another Bills pick. Yeah, you love to see it. Actually, he's doing exactly what we said.
Stacking up. Best ball. Yeah. So the way this works is the regular season's 14 weeks. And then look at all these tight ends. My God. So the regular season's 14 weeks, and then it'll be a playoff format. So stacking is really important in best ball because you don't have a chance to make trades or set your lineups. So you really want those big pop weeks in the playoffs to put you over the hump. So let me see here. Man, I hate this spot so much.
I feel like you can still make stuff happen from the spot, you could grab an elite quarterback here as a strategy I would sometimes go with from this spot. You've got Lamar, you've got Jalen Hurts right there, both rushing quarterbacks with a ton of upside. Normally I would say you could grab a tight end, but the kind of top tight ends are off the board. But I like Andrews a lot. You could literally go Andrews, Lamar. It's something that's what I've done a lot in leagues.
I would never usually take this, but I was gonna shoot for a tight end on one of these picks, but that was ruined. So I'm gonna go super balanced here and kind of keep my options open. Okay. So, and also, how do you feel about bye weeks? Like having too many people on the same bye week in best ball. Does that bother you? Because it bothers the shit out of me.
So you need to try to avoid it like quarterback and tight end position, of course, because you're not going to have too many of those on your team. When it comes to wide receiver or running back, I try not to worry about it too much. I don't want like my 2 or 3 top guys all with the same bye week. But besides that, as long as you don't have like 3 or 4 guys with the same bye week, it's usually okay.
Yeah.
Like, and having one down week isn't going to like destroy your season as long as you're doing well the rest of the time.
Cool. So I went with just an instant stack there on the turn, Jalen Hurts, and then I just reached a few wide receivers down to get Devonta Smith. So I have 3 people with bye week 5. So I'm probably not going to draft anyone else from bye week 5. Maybe one other player from bye week 5, just because in best ball you kind of have to be careful about that. You don't want 6 and 7 people in the same bye weeks because it'll give you a really bad score that week that you might not be able to make up from. I mean, maybe other James. so Mike is all in Bill's stacking.
Yeah, that's not bad there. He's got Buffalo. He's going to have all Buffalo guys. I like the Devontae Smith pick. I think that's a little late for him actually. If you're playing like the underdog best ball, he goes usually like 3rd round or 2nd round even a lot of times. And I actually really like Hiltnerm's pick there at Kenneth Walker. I think the coaches have been talking about how much they love him this year, even with Charbonnet there. They've been saying they're going to try to get him into the passing game, which is something you really want to hear. He's not known for being a pass catcher, but if they're talking about it and he's already like the lead back and just dominating that backfield, I think you could have taken him where like Josh Jacobs go. Like the difference between him and Josh Jacobs shouldn't be that big.
I would take Walker straight up over Jacobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, is it just me or does Green Bay have like 8 mouths to feed? That's the way I'm feeling about that. They have endless pass catchers, and I don't know. Jacobs didn't have a great year last year. He was outstanding 2 years ago, but he had a down year last year.
Yeah, I agree. I like that the quarterback going off the board in the 4th round. That's a good spot for both of them. Those are both great grabs, with Lamar Jackson especially going after, Hurts and Allen, I think is a really sneaky good grab. See, I'm coming up next year.
I was trying to decide whether to do the Lamar Andrews or Lamar Zay Flowers stack or the Hurts Devonta Smith.
So I've got a decision. I really like Mark Andrews here. I'm tempted to grab him. There's also a lot of great wide receiving options. And then sometimes I like to, if I don't get one of these big tight ends, I'll sometimes grab a little bit of a later one, or just go late with like my last picks, do a bunch of tight ends or something and hope that works out for me. I think I'm going to go with my top guy on the board, and one of the top guys on the board period here. Just take Mike Pittman, another top starting wide receiver. Josh Downs is banged up. Adonai Mitchell, we don't really know about how good he's going to be. Alec Pierce, we've seen what he's got. It's not that much. So he could just get fed targets.
Dude, I think you might get Andrews unless Cali God drafts him, because I don't think Tony's going to take him here with already having Kelsey. So you might get lucky and get Andrews in there.
Yeah, I don't think I could pass on him in the 5th. If he falls that far, I think I'd have to snag him here. But I've got a couple guys here I don't mind grabbing. This is where I talk about, you have the hero RB approach. So I'm going to ignore the running back position for the next few rounds. I'm just going to like pretend it doesn't exist and then kind of draft a bunch late to make up for it. And I'll grab value at wide receiver, at tight end, maybe quarterback. We'll kind of see. I like the Rachaad White pick there for Cali God. He's kind of got the hero RB approach. I think that's okay taking, even going to the 4th round, your first running back, Rachaad White. That's like right at that end of the tier of running backs there. So I think it's a good snag.
For sure.
All right, we got CJ Stroud off the board. He's actually on me. I don't know if you've got players you're like looking to grab this year or not looking to grab. He's on my list of like players I'm avoiding. I love CJ Stroud. He's amazing. But to like replicate what he did last year, he's gonna have to throw just so many touchdowns. That's what he's gonna have to do. He doesn't really run, and when you have a quarterback that doesn't run, I don't like taking him that early. I'd rather, like, the difference between Stroud and Burrow, I don't think it's that big, and Burrow goes so much later.
Right. Yeah, agree. So the Stroud he stacked with Dell right away, which I really like. Yeah, I'm
Kelly God's listening to me, and
yeah,
he snagged away from me. That's all right. We'll go with I'll grab another guy I like a lot here, and a young guy, still number 1 on his team. We'll take some Zay Flowers action, so still get a Baltimore guy going.
Yeah, I like it. So 2 wide receivers by 6, 2 by 14. Okay.
I like Kittle there. Kittle's a nice grab. We don't know what's going on with San Fran with Ayuk, if he ends up leaving or he stays but isn't happy. I don't know what's going on there. That's another player I've been kind of avoiding a little bit, is Brandon Ayuk, just because the situation is so weird to me. I don't know what to do with him.
I think he's staying, man. I heard a report today that he had a really long meeting with the 49ers today, and they're just ironing out details. So I don't know. I think it's going to happen. Why? I just don't understand why he'd leave.
I think he was hoping they would send him to a team with better playoff prospects. And instead is like every team that wanted him, he didn't want. Like New England was like ready to happen, but
better playoff prospects than the 49ers, who were just in the Super Bowl?
No.
I don't know.
I was hoping so. Max there just took Anthony Richardson, who I loved this year. I was hoping he might sneak back around to me so I could stack him up. I think that's a great pick. I have him ranked over CJ Stroud, honestly. I just think he's a guy who could finish top 3 this year with the rushing ability. I know he has accuracy issues, but I'm hoping they can fix that. And he'll get better each year he's in the league.
I mean, he has the absolute Konami code,
Yeah.
Well, we only have seen him for a couple games, but from what we've seen so far, guy's just an absolute baller on the ground. So I'm with you there. I think in a 6-point passing touchdown, I firmly want Stroud, but in a standard league like this, Richardson over him.
I think even then, I still want Richardson. Like even in the 6-point passing touchdown, Stroud's going to have to throw so many touchdowns.
I don't know, man. I'm high on Stroud. I really think that he could come close to leading the NFL in touchdown passes.
It could happen. It could definitely happen. They do have Joe Mixon there now, though, who is a steal for Rick there in the 5th round.
Love that.
He's a bruiser of a running back. They're just going to run him like crazy. That's what he does. To get him as your running back 2 in the 5th round is a good grab there. There you go. Mike Bills fan taking Rome Odunze, another pick I like a lot. A lot of times, especially we're talking about best ball in this draft, but also in your home leagues, Odunze will go like 7th round or later because he's a rookie. People don't always like rookies their first year, especially in home leagues and stuff. And Rome Odunze, I don't know if anybody's been watching like training camp and stuff with the Bears, but he looks really good. He looks really good in preseason. He looks really good. I'm all about taking Odunze where he goes in your drafts this year. You just have to be patient with them. Typically, rookies aren't going to perform the first half of the season a little bit, and the second half they get hot, and that's when you want them to get hot, get you in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned it every pick so far, but I absolutely hate. Like I have not, absolutely just smashed draft on anyone thus far.
I mean, the last couple picks were good. Hurts and Devontae. You're in kind of a. What I would call a big tier of players, where like the next 12 to 20 players are kind of pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm in a dead zone. So what I am going to do pretty confidently is I'm still high on Keenan Allen this year. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed there, but that offense is clicking pretty well in the preseason. And Keenan Allen is just, unless he's on the sidelines, he has never disappointed in the last 7 or 8 years. So I put him in like the Devontae Adams group of, I'm old, but don't forget about me. So all about Keenan Allen. Still, I think the fall has gone too far.
I was big on him like earlier in the summer. Lately, people are talking about he's slow. He's lost a step. I don't know. We'll see. It could be nothing. He is at that age cliff, though. He's right about there where we see wide receivers drop off. So I've kind of backed off on him a little bit, and I've been drafting a little bit more Odunze to make up for it a little later. Oh, we got a couple seconds here.
Yeah.
There you go. Kamara. Yeah. You go wrong with Kamara. He's older back, but he can do it. We've seen him do it. He'll go crazy. Last year, you weren't confident in him.
Yeah, you had to talk me into him last year. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, he's just like one of the most unsexy picks, right? But yeah, I don't like who's remaining for me there. I was deciding between Kamara or Rhamondre Stevenson. Who would you have chose between those two?
Kamara, easily. Yeah, it's not close for me. Rhamondre is on my avoid list this year too. We're talking about players not to draft. If he drops, I'm happy taking him past ADP. But I just think the offense is not good. He potentially will be playing with a rookie quarterback, which is never great. And they picked up Antonio Gibson, who is like a former wide receiver. He's all about the pass catching, and that's what we want Rhamondre to do. So I'm not big on this year. He could burn me. He could go off, but I'm going to be kind of avoiding him a little bit.
Yeah, this Saints offense just is what scares me about Kamara. I mean, I know this isn't a PPR league. It's only half PPR. So that scares me off a little bit. And the Saints offense, I just think it has a chance to be absolute shit. So yeah, that was a value based pick where I think he slid a little bit, but not super excited with him there.
Yeah.
Also,
so my next pick here, if JP doesn't mess me up, I'm going to take a guy a little bit early, I think. One of the guys I'm probably highest on, I know you're a fan too. I don't have a stack for him, but if they run, it's okay. If you've got a mobile quarterback, it's okay to have them unstacked because they're going to get you that floor. So Kyler Murray is one where I have him ranked above Burrow. I think you could put him up there with Stroud because of his running ability, period.
And you have chances to stack later. I mean,
yeah, there's some guys later you can take and get some like late stacks with them. So right after, another strategy I was just going to say is the reason I took Kyler Murray there is because next to me, I saw Cali God does not have a quarterback yet. And I wanted to make sure that I knew Kyler probably isn't going to make it back around. So it's kind of a little bit of strategy when you're drafting is looking ahead of where you're picking after you're picking and see like, hey, if the next 3 guys have tight ends before it comes back to me, then I can wait on tight end and take that later. In this case, I knew I couldn't wait on quarterback and I wanted to take the quarterback.
I will say I'm surprised because I thought that you would wait and in the 7th round take Tua just because you have the Dolphins receivers. But yeah, maybe Tua will make it to you in the 8th if you want to.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But I also, like I said, I'm not too concerned about it. Once I get like the 1 QB here, I'm probably just gonna fade quarterback for the rest of the draft until it gets kind of later. I'm happy to have Kyler be the guy, and I'll just bet on him to be a top 5 guy this year.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I have him in quite a few dynasty leagues. I'm all about it. So he has great weapons, and he's finally fully healthy, 2 years removed from the injury. So wheels up.
Yep. No, I'm pumped. I think he's
what do you got on DeAndre Swift? Actually, I'll let you pick, and then I'll talk.
Yeah, I'm going to get my little Kansas City stack here and take Rashee Rice, who people are worried about Rashee Rice. The latest news is saying he's not even going to go to court this year, which means he won't serve a suspension this year. And I feel like if we were certain he wasn't serving a suspension, he would probably get drafted closer to the 5th round than the 7th. So yeah, I'm happy to take him there and get a little Kansas City stack with Pacheco.
Yeah, I'd say 5th round would be about right.
Yeah. This year, I feel like you can grab Xavier Worthy or Rashee Rice. Used to be Hollywood Brown. Now I'm a little worried about him with the injury news and stuff. But grabbing one of those 2 guys, either Worthy or Rice, is just a great call because they're on a top offense. And somebody's going to blow up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You were asking about DeAndre Swift, though?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on him. What do you feel about him this year? Because first year on a new team, running quarterback. I guess Caleb Williams is considered a running quarterback. So typically you downgrade a running back a little bit when they're on a team with a running quarterback. Where do you land on Swift this year?
Yeah, he's on my avoid list. I'm not looking to draft him. I just think, like you said, he's with the rookie quarterback and a running quarterback at that. Plus, there's just too many mouths to feed there. They've got the 3 wide receivers. They've got 2 tight ends, both Everett as well as Kmet. We're seeing Everett get work in the preseason just alongside Kmet there. And then they've got other running backs in that field that are going to make the team. Khalil Herbert, talented. Roschon Johnson with the pass catching. We haven't really seen that talent emerge yet. And then it's between those guys, a few others they've got there too. It just has me worried for DeAndre Swift. I know they paid him a bunch of money, but it's just hard to see him really pay off, I think.
So I have a long shot call that I'm going to make.
Okay.
I think that Roschon Johnson is going to be the starting running back for the Bears before the season's over.
That's pretty long shot.
I have 70% ownership of Roschon Johnson in best ball. Dude,
that is too high. He's going undrafted.
He's going undrafted. Yeah. He is my last pick in every draft.
You gotta switch it up. That could be your downfall.
Nah, I'm going down with the ship. Every time Roshan Johnson scores a touchdown, you better text me this year.
We have Bills fan Mike telling us Worthy is the next Tyreek Hill. Yeah, wouldn't that be? I mean, he must be, right, because the Bills passed on him. So that would mean he's going to be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
The Bills traded
Hey,
him away.
hey, Jake and Mike, can we get some commentary on you guys passing on Worthy and how you're feeling about Keon Coleman? Because I honestly don't
I think
know.
we're about to see Keon Coleman here. No, I was pretty confident.
Ready? Here it comes.
Thanks, Vic. Yeah, actually, I'm super high on Keon Coleman this year. They've had
Wow, why?
He's got like 100% of the ones like running with the runs and stuff in preseason and practice. I just think when you look at opportunity, he's got all of it. So I'm cool with him this year. I'm all about it. I've been taking him, and where he goes to, he's not like a huge cost in redraft or best ball. So I think he's worth the bet that he could be awesome. Plus, just recently found out Curtis Samuel, who I really loved, has turf toe. We all hate turf toe. It's like the worst thing. It lingers forever. So it's got me kind of trending down on him, which I'm not too happy about because I drafted a lot of Curtis Samuel.
I'm a big Khalil Shakir guy. Seriously, I can't stop between Kincaid and Shakir. I think that's their guys this year. But I'm ready for the Bills Mafia folks to tell me.
Yeah, here goes.
How wrong I am about that.
Mike, no comment. You never give the enemy your pick. So Kincaid, people are all about Kincaid this year. He scares me a little bit because Dawson Knox is still there. He's not going away. He's a red zone threat. And when your tight end usually gets your points from touchdowns, generally, is where you're getting your tight end points from. And if Knox is taking half the touchdowns away, it worries me a little there. But who else are they going to throw to? So maybe Kincaid has this breakout year and he pays off.
Yeah. I think Kincaid has an outside chance for tight end 1 this year. I mean, I think he's their number 1 receiver. Okay, so I went Chris Godwin. Those who know me know I have a Chris Godwin problem. And
it's a good problem to have, though.
Chris Godwin's great. Chris Godwin is probably one of the most unheralded, unsexy receivers in the NFL. The reason I really like him this year is the offensive coordinator has publicly said Chris Godwin is a slot receiver. He's a big slot receiver. That's where he should play. It was a mistake putting him on the outside. We're moving him back in the slot for when he was like an ultra producer. So absolutely love that for him. And then next up, I'm ignoring every speeding ticket and DUI. And I'm going for the guy that scored how many touchdowns his rookie year? 10?
Wow. He did pretty good.
So I'm going to try not to overthink the Jordan Addison thing. I mean, I'm trying to think of another situation where a rookie player came in and smashed expectations to the degree that Jordan Addison did, and then no one cared. I mean, it's like you hear more negatives about Addison than he got 100 targets and caught 10 touchdowns. I mean, no one talks about that. So I'm high on Addison. I mean, the JJ McCarthy news sucks, but I'm not gonna downgrade him for that.
Yeah, I agree. As long as we don't know about if he's going to be suspended or anything like that. But he's extremely talented. He's running alongside Justin Jefferson. He's still going to get targets. We saw, talent's going to give you some targets, but all about it. Rick taking Ladd McConkey, league winner this year's Puka Nacua. I don't know if he's this year's Puka Nacua because Puka was kind of a really nobody, but he could be very good. Again, it's that chance where he's a rookie with all of the opportunity. There's Josh Palmer there, and that's about it. I'm on the clock here, and this is typically where I would start going into the running backs. There is a wide receiver I like a lot here, so I'm kind of debating if I want to jump and snag a wide out or just go right into the running backs. I think I'll wait, and I'll take one more wide out here and grab Deontay Johnson. I think he's a little underrated this year. We could see some good things from him. Dave Canales going in there. We saw him do great things with Geno, great things with Baker. So I'm kind of betting a little bit that we see a little Carolina resurgence this year, and Deontay Johnson gets a part of it.
Yeah, so after Tony makes one pick here, I'm going to pause just for a couple minutes so we can just do a quick recap after 8 rounds.
Yeah, honestly, everybody's team's looking pretty good. I think everybody's done a good job, especially for best ball drafts. So we got a lot of these guys last minute. I'm liking it.
2 teams without a QB so far.
Yeah, a lot of different strategies going on. You and I are both tight endless.
Yeah. Okay, pause real quick. Yeah, so Jake and Team Manning are the only 2 teams without QB. So I can see them snagging one this round. And me and you, I think, are the only 2 without a tight end. So that'll be on our to-do list here shortly. But is there any team, that you're really liking, or any team you're not loving at all so far?
I mean, my team's really good, right? No, just kidding. I like Gamble's team. I really like to start. I'm a big A-Chain fan. Like Collins going there. I think Mahomes in the 4th is a great pick. He just got a little stack there at the end. So he got a little sneaky little Evan Ingram, Brian Thomas stack. I think that's a smart move. Jacksonville, we could see have a pretty decent offense. Sorry, have them throwing the ball a lot. Yeah, the only player I don't love from him is Montgomery, but I think he's a solid pick. We don't know Jahmyr Gibbs about the injury yet, like how bad it is or not bad. So it could end up being a really good pick with Montgomery there, because we know they're going to use him no matter what. He's not going to sit on the sidelines. They really like him in Detroit. How about you? Any teams you're really liking?
Yeah, Montgomery, big coach's favorite.
Yeah.
I dig God's team.
Yeah.
I dig the strategy. 5 what I would consider really strong wide receivers, but he also has last year's QB2, Dak Prescott. He has a tight end that could finish tight end 1, and he has Rachaad White, who finished as a fringe RB1, top end RB2 last year. So I'm really liking it. If he can nail some running back value, I'd really like the receiver heavy start there, just because his team's also, he has his QB and his tight end already. So I like that a lot.
I agree. I think I like stacking Prescott. I think the only thing I would change there is if you could have looked and seen that, team 1 there, Pina has Stroud already. So he could have waited on Prescott. He could have got Amari Cooper, who I like much better than Calvin Ridley. And then he could have waited and got Prescott in the 7th and would have had a slightly better there. But that's you're nitpicking there. That's all.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. Yeah, I mean, he was probably just excited to get the stack with Lamb. Yeah. But that's a good point. Is you got to really, especially when you're on the corners, pay attention to who's around you and what they're going to focus on. Okay, so let's roll.
Keep it rolling. I don't think there's anybody's team I especially don't like either. I think, like I said, I think everybody's doing a pretty good job. I'm actually pretty impressed. Our buddy Mike over there pulled a few guys a little early. Shakir going a little early, but his team's well balanced. It's working out okay for him. He's got that Bill stack going. If the Bills have an amazing year, he's going to crush.
I got to call out Mike here, because he drafted Khalil Shakir over Keon Coleman. So, as the Bills fan that runs this channel, please speak up. Please speak up. I sense worry, in your voice. You're drafting Shakir over your first draft pick in Coleman. Tell us why. We're waiting. We need to know.
I'm going to smash Jaylen Warren here. I know there's a little bit of injury news with him, but we haven't heard that it's bad or anything. And I mean, he could outscore Najee Harris, and Najee's going 3 rounds higher. So
the last I read is Jaylen Warren's not playing to start the year.
Potentially, yeah. But I'm okay with that. He'll come back and play. And Arthur Smith offense, they're going to run the ball like crazy, right? So
I do, like, if you look at the value difference, Najee Harris was pick 6-3, and you got Jaylen Warren at 9-3. I would prefer Warren with a 3-round difference. I think in underdog drafts, they're going within like 10 picks of each other either way. So I dig that.
I got to give JP some credit there. I was between Warren and Brooks, the two backs I was looking at right there. I really like Brooks. I think he could be a breakout star. Just worried about health. We know he's probably not going to start the season. It's looking like right now.
Yeah,
But
he's a prime. He's an IR candidate. I think Brooks misses 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, especially a team rebuilding like the Panthers. There's no reason to rush him back.
Yeah.
All right, so Jake, you're officially the last team without a QB because Manning just got auto picked Purdy, but he got the Ayuk stack maybe by accident.
He could have a Q set, so that could be why that popped up for him.
So
Coleman will be great. But Khalil's number 2 guy behind Dalton. Oh, that's a hot take right there,
bro. I'm telling you, if Shakir goes off, I'm gonna make money this year because I'm all in on it.
I just don't see it. I think Coleman's more talented. I think Coleman's more talented than Khalil Shakir. He's got a more talented college profile. I don't know.
Yeah, but Shakir can actually run fast.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Coleman's pretty funny. Maybe if you get
I should have took Coleman.
Maybe if you get fantasy points for telling jokes, Coleman will outscore him. But
yeah. Wait, someone must have taken Coleman already. Is he just?
Yeah, he already went. He went to Manning.
Okay, I was gonna say what? Yeah, there he is.
Christian Watson, the best ball of God.
Honestly, all the Green Bay wide receivers. I think any Green Bay wide receiver is a great best ball pick, not a great redraft pick. It's if you want to get one of the guys late, I think it's okay to sit on your bench and see if that's the guy that pops this year. But people keep asking Green Bay coaches like, who's the number 1 wide receiver? And they're like, we have 4 number 1 wide receivers. Like, stop asking us that question. They don't like it, and they agree that like all the wide receivers are good. They just have way too many good wide receivers. They're going to throw the ball around to all of them. But you're up. What are you doing here?
Yeah, man. So this is the first pick of the draft aside from Garrett Wilson that I was like semi excited to make. So I almost drafted this person instead of Jordan Addison.
Oh, okay.
So be careful because I think I like this player a lot more than most people, but I'm a huge Jake Ferguson fan.
Oh.
So my take on Jake Ferguson is Dallas has no running back, number 1. Number 2, CeeDee Lamb is really their only receiver. Cooks is like, I would call him like a good number 3, but they're still having open competition for their number 3 receiver. So Ferguson had, I believe, the most targets in the red zone in the NFL last year. I'm all in on him. I like him so much. I passed up the stack for Goddard because I just like him a lot more than Goddard. So, yeah, I'm about that. So next up, I have 5 receivers and only 2 running backs. So I'm going to go with a running back here, and I'm just going to shoot for pure upside. And I'm going to take who I think could be the running back 1 for the Titans, Tyjae Spears. His stats last year, as the kids say, were mid, but he passed the eye test like crazy. Highlight reels, always involved in the pass game. And I just think Tony Pollard ain't it, man. I was heavy in on Pollard last year because he was handed the keys in Dallas. He had 0 competition in Dallas, played most of the season, and just couldn't get it done. So why, if you cannot get it done in Dallas, are you going to go to the Titans and all of a sudden be good? It's just not going to happen. So I think Pollard's kind of washed and Spears is the guy. What do you think?
Completely agree. I'm a big Tyjae Spears fan. I actually draft him over Tony Pollard on a regular basis. I think he should be ranked higher than Tony Pollard. He was another guy I was thinking about at that spot where I took Warren. I was kind of between him, Brooks, and Spears were the three guys I was debating right there. So yeah, I think he's a huge grab this year. It's one of those situations where you want to look for like a muddled backfield where there's multiple backs. There isn't a real starter. There's like 1A, 1B. That's where you want to like pick one and hope that's the guy, because the value
Speaking
could
of,
be huge.
speaking of 1A, 1B,
Yeah.
Chase Brown. You know, I don't know what to think. My gut tells me don't overthink it, and Zach Moss is just far superior. Did Zach Moss get drafted? Yeah, he got drafted
He
two
did.
rounds.
He went a couple rounds earlier, and it's same thing. I've
You take
like
you
I
take
started off Zach Moss ahead of Chase Brown by a little bit, and now I'm on Chase Brown team. I have him ahead of Zach Moss in my rankings. I just think that Chase Brown, the coaches have been really talking him up lately. They've been talking about his pass catching ability. They've been talking about how much they like him. And when they keep talking about it, sometimes it means there's something there. And he's a guy I've been targeting a lot.
Zach Moss is the worst pass catcher to ever exist, and Chase Brown.
Hey, I'm not
Um,
hating on Zach Moss. I think one of those two guys in the Cincinnati offense is going to go off. I want to get one of them and see what happens. That's what I want.
yeah, I mean the coach speak around Chase Brown is really, really high this year, but that's kind of all we're going off, right? I mean, he was a fifth or sixth round draft pick, and last year I think he had 20 touches. I don't know. It was something around that. So, we can't it's he's a little bit of a tough case, right? Because we don't exactly know what his role is going to be. And Moss had a really good year last year, whether you like it or not. So, um, yeah, man, I'm Moss over Chase Brown. That's for sure. I think they're close, but I would put Moss at least one round before Chase Brown.
So I win Blake Corum there. He's the guy. Sometimes I like to take the backups when there's opportunity. Kyron, we know he's not healthy 100% of the time. When he is, Sean McVay likes to use him all the time. But like I said earlier, I think they drafted Corum for a reason. I think he's going to be a change of pace back for them. I think he's going to see some usage, and the talent is there. He's very talented back, and he could. You never know what can happen there. I think he could end up winning out. Kyron gets hurt or something. There's nobody else. There's nobody else with talent in the backfield. It's those two, and that's it.
Yeah, agree. And Corum is just a spitting image of Kyron, which makes, I guess you don't want to overthink it, but it makes me feel like he's just a pure handcuff because their talents don't work off each other. They're identical. So it's hard to say if they'll get work side by side, but yeah, McVay has a type. Hey Jeremy, can you please compliment Tony's team on team number one because he's very upset that you haven't.
um, so like I said, I'm not a fan of the Stroud pick. I think the Kelsey pick is awesome. Um, I think it's like a little early, but he's the top tight end. I think he's worth grabbing right there. Uh, Derrick Henry, that's about like where he goes. I feel like some people reach for him a little earlier than that, even, and we could see him just blow up on the Ravens. It's a great O line there. I think he's going to do. It's going to be tough for teams to go against the Ravens when they've got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Like, what are they going to do? I'm up here. I'm going to stick with the running back shtick and the backup shtick, and this is where like sometimes your personal rankings really outweigh the sleeper rankings or whatever platform you're on, whether it be Yahoo or ESPN. And in this case, I'm going to go with somebody who could be a lead back in Dallas. Zeke, we saw last year, is a little tired. Dowdle, we didn't see a lot from. And this, I could totally mess up this pick, and Dallas could pick somebody off the waiver wire or a free agent or something. But for now, it's looking like it's going to be Dowdle and Zeke there.
Yeah, I like it. A lot of high praise from Dowdle. He was a undrafted player, maybe, or late round drafted player, and he's stuck around Dallas for a few years now. He's not. I think he's a third year player, so they obviously see something in him and really like him. So I think he's finally getting his opportunity, much like Pollard did. At the end of his rookie contract at Dallas, they same kind of story there.
I gotta say, when you took Ferguson, you did pass on Goddard there. and that would have been a nice little hurt stack going for you. So I
I
think
said that
in that
out loud.
situation, I have Ferguson ranked higher, but I probably would have gone Goddard for the stacking purpose. It's a weird situation.
I said that out loud, that I like Ferguson so much better than Goddard that I am
Yeah.
foregoing my stack. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom in like a dynasty league if someone offered me Goddard for Ferguson, I would decline it so fast that my phone would break. So like, no, I'm not drafting Goddard for a stack. No.
Well, this is where I think best ball is a little different. I agree. I'm not a big Goddard redraft fan or
He
a
doesn't stay
Goddard.
healthy, which is not good for best ball.
Well,
You
he's
need
sporadic. That offense, like who's going to catch the touchdowns? Goddard really depends on catching that touchdown, which is why he's good for best ball. I think especially in the 10th round there, I think it's a great Goddard grab, and
Yeah.
he's gonna have spike weeks and put up points. It's a good little like two nice tight end there with Bowers and Goddard. I think it's a good combo. Also, Arpina, I didn't see you stack Stroud and Tank Dell there. That's a nice little sneaky stack, and Tank Dell going a little later than I think he should. Huge Tank Dell fan. I think he's awesome. I think he could have a really good year.
Any chance he's the number one? I mean, because before you answer that,
no, your guy's the number one. I know who you love there.
Nico.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So, but I was gonna say, I think that wide receiver trio might be the best trio we've seen on a team in a really long time. Because you have Diggs, who's been a certified one for 6 years now. Nico, who just came out of nowhere last year and is just an absolute alpha. And then Tank Dell, who put up wide receiver 1 points per game while he was healthy. So now what? My answer is I think all of them are going to be great, because I think Stroud's about to be. I really think he could lead the NFL in touchdown passes. I think he's a lock for the top 5. So
I think it's tough. It's going to be tough for him to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I think he's definitely a top 5 real
in touchdown passes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So someone said, "Damn it, damn you, Riku." I wanted, yeah. So I was actually happy that JK got drafted before me, not because I don't want him, because I already have 2 running backs with bye week 5, and I have a J.K. Dobbins problem. So J.K. Dobbins won the Ravens for 3 or 4 years, always injured. Now he's going to Greg Roman's system. I really, really, seeing him and Gus Edwards firsthand, J.K. is just superior talent to Gus Edwards. So I think that backfield is J.K. Dobbins, and it's going to be so run heavy, and I love that pick.
There's a guy slipping here a little bit that I'm crazy about that I really wanted to take, but I needed running backs pretty bad. I'm kind of surprised no one's grabbed him.
Well,
I'm not going to say it, but
I don't know who you're referring to. So carry on.
Well, I'll say anyway. If somebody on the stream will grab them. I am a big Washington Commanders fan.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
I think Jaden Daniels should be going probably ahead of Brock Purdy, ahead of Tua, maybe right around the Jordan Love range there. Just the rushing ability is amazing, and he has that top 5 ability with the rushing, and he is accurate passer. It's just a matter of Washington's not the best team, building the O-line is better this year, but it's not great. It's okay. And it's going to be like teaching him to, not have to run all the time, throw it away, learn how to do things. There's a learning curve, but he could break fantasy football this year. I think he's the quarterback that could really break fantasy football.
Yeah, I agree. He's had a pretty good preseason so far. So I just did a decent.
Tony says I'm bigger on Daniels than Stroud. I am. That's right.
Wow.
For fantasy purposes, just the rushing is there. He has with the rushing, he has such an easy path to getting points.
That's wild. So yeah, I'm gonna take another tight end I really like this year, Cole Kmet, and then oh fuck, I done messed up.
What you miss on?
Shit. Oh well, man.
I was
Now,
a Cole fan,
no,
but
no,
lately
no.
Everett's been sharing the snaps with him in preseason, so I'm a little
No,
worried.
well,
But
no. I mean, I'm not worried about Gerald freaking
oh,
Everett.
you
No,
stacked
what
you got the
no,
same bye week on your tight ends
I
there.
have the same buy. So what I was going for is just take a tight end now and not and just kind of cross tight end off my list for the rest of the draft. But I didn't realize he had the same buy as Ferguson. So
You know,
never
that's
mind.
still not too bad. There are people that do the one tight end strategy because the tight end position is like the least valuable position, right? There's only one spot. There are going to be weeks when you have like, you can have 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends in your team and get like a few points and that's it. So having like that 0 in there isn't a huge, as big as a loss as you think it is, like statistically wise, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah, you usually don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes. I've done it before and been like, well, I guess I'm taking a tight end with my last pick just to have somebody that week or something like that.
Yeah, I might have
It
to do.
happens. Yeah. And then we see Daniels go to Hiltner there. That's just a really good pick. Daniels and Burrow. He probably doesn't have to worry about quarterback if he doesn't want to with those two. Herbert, I'm curious to hear what you think about Herbert this year, Justin Herbert. I am way off him. All this, I know like the Harbaugh offense and stuff. He runs a lot, blah blah blah. That didn't bother me, but now this injury stuff, it just really scares me away from him.
Yeah, man. So like on underdog drafts, he's going as like QB 18 or QB 19, and I feel like at that point you almost have to take him, just because of the name and the pedigree. But I'm with you, man. When you pair, plantar fasciitis or whatever the hell you call it with Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, it's like a trio you never want to deal with. So I'm with you. In like, this is a best ball league, so obviously you need multiple quarterbacks. But in a league that's not best ball, I'm going to go for a elite, top 10 QB, so I don't have to think about someone like Herbert. I'm just not going to roster another QB. I'm going to draft, someone Kyler Murray or before, and then just that's it. I'm not going to take a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about my first pick, real quick. Rashid Shaheed. I'm just way too high on this guy. I just absolutely love watching him play, and I think he has earned a receiver role for that team, through being probably a top 3 return man in the NFL. I think if he keeps his receiver role, I mean, he's the number 2 wide receiver there, and he also has the kick return role with these new kick return rules. I think this guy is about to absolutely smash. Um, I don't know. To me, he's just like the most electric returner in the league, and he's the number 2 receiver. And I don't think there's many other people with that kind of role in the NFL. So I'm just super high on him this year. He had a great year last year, and in best ball with his spike weeks that he has, I just love him.
I agree. Another guy who's like a much better best ball pick than a redraft pick, but he goes so late in redraft that he's worth stashing on your bench for a bye week. If something happens to Chris Olave, he's like immediately right in there as one of their top options. Yeah, Rick, I think Rick is right there. Yeah, he's gonna have a blow up game. It'll just be the one game, but yeah, it'll happen.
I think there's I don't know what do you think the line is to bet a Rashid Shaheed 3 touchdown game? I mean, you might get plus money on that, but I think it could actually happen because I think he could have a return TD pretty easily. And he has multiple games, I believe, in his career with 2 receiving and a rushing TD. They just get the ball in his hands as much as they can.
Yeah.
He's that type of player. He's like this day and age Devin Hester.
Yeah, I agree. He just has that playmaking ability, and they like him. They're going to use him.
So you went with
And talk
another
about
one.
Rick's last pick there, Taysom Hill. He's an interesting pick because depending on what format you play in, he's either listed as a quarterback or a tight end. And in the quarterback formats, you're not drafting him on your team. And the sleeper format where they have him as a tight end, he's a tight end that plays quarterback, so he's worth grabbing.
Yeah, I can't remember if Sleeper will play him at quarterback and tight end or not, but if so, I
No,
love
just
that.
tight end, it looks like this year
Just
so
tight end.
far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to continue my running back run here and reach a little bit just to get my. I made a mistake and I have 3 running backs with bye week 6, but it'll work out. You only got to start 2.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, your strategy is very apparent, right? So yeah, wide
I
receiver
went
heavy up front.
dead zone. So what we call in the fantasy football world the running back dead zone. It's generally that like week from like 4 to 7 ish
Mm-hmm.
range, right? Is what depending each draft is different, but this one's about that's where the running back dead zone. So I avoid all the running backs there. I got my one hero running back, and then once rounds 8 or 9 hits, that's I just pound these running backs here, and I hope like 2 or 3 of these guys pan out, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, Warren, I would call him 1B. He's not even the backup.
I think it's
Corum's
healthy. Yeah.
the pure handcuff. Dowdle, who knows?
Yep.
Chandler, I'd call him the 1B. I don't think he's the backup. Aaron Jones is the starter, but I think
They
Chandler,
love him though. They
yeah,
love Ty Chandler.
yeah,
Yeah, in
Chandler could
Minnesota.
outproduce Jones. And McLaughlin, I'm a really big Javonte Williams truther, so I have no McLaughlin shares in my 10 dynasty teams, but I see the love. It's a backfield that's not crystal clear, and it's a Sean Payton offense, and Bo Nix actually looks decent. So I'm cool with that.
I think they just like him there. That's why I grab him. I grab him in like he's a guy I have in way too many best ball drafts because you can get him late. He's a great like 5th or 6th running back on your squad, and he's a guy that it seems like they love him enough. He's going to be there all the time, and they want to use him. He might not be like the number one guy there, but something happens to Javante. Who knows? Maybe they just end up liking him more. Like you said, Sean Payton offense loves a running back, so I'm just hoping that he ends up doing all right there. I like Max's pick there with Jalen Polk. That's a homer pick for him. He's the New England guy, but I think it's a great pick. We talked earlier, like rookies are players that you don't want to take too early, but they have the biggest potential payoff. And New England does not have a number 1 wide receiver. Polk is the guy. Hope this is what they're hoping for. They drafted him to be that. They're saying he's got chemistry with Drake May. We don't know when Drake May is going to start, but it's a great bet to take in the 13th round. I think that could win you your league. He could be the Puka Nakua this year.
Yeah, agree. New England, I think they're going to be the lowest scoring offense in the league.
Yeah.
Sorry, MJ,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm not super excited about fuzzy wide receiver rooms that aren't going to score points. But yeah, I mean, Polk has as good of a chance as anyone to win that wide receiver 1 job.
Mike doubles down on Buffalo running backs there with Ray Davis alongside James Cook. Honestly, not a terrible strategy. You're going to get points from one of them every week. So
People really knock the handcuffing in best ball, but I really don't mind it because
when it's late like that, I don't mind it because you're not losing too much value.
Exactly. If it's a high scoring offense and you're guaranteed probably to get 1 touchdown a game between the 2 of them. Let me see here.
I like Hiltner's strategy right there. He's stacking Sinnott with Jaden Daniels. Another great best ball strategy is stacking late. Getting a late quarterback stack is an excellent strategy to go with. That one's good. We're not sure about Sinnott yet. They seem to like him, but he's nobody thinks he's going to be a Kincaid or a Pitts. But it's this late. It's a great little stack to grab. There you go, fixing your tight end problem.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fix my tight end problem immediately. So I actually think I went from like a late tight end. I drafted a tight end end of the 9th round to now I'm not worried about my tight end room at all because I have 3 guys that I really think do have upside to come in tight end, 7 to 10 range. I think all of them have that in their range of outcomes. Ferguson maybe even a touch higher than that. So I'm really liking where this is, and people forget, they can finish in the flex spot too. So totally cool with that. Let me see here. I only have 3 running backs. So I probably, let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 receivers, 3 running backs. I'm going to go with another little mini stack here and go with Dontayvion Wicks. Big high scoring offense. We don't really know where it's going to come from. So I'm just going to take advantage of that murkiness. By the metrics, Wicks was kind of their best wide receiver last year. If any of you, listen to reception perception, Wicks is kind of like the GOAT. But Christian Watson is, I think who they want there to be the alpha. Jaden Reed's kind of the do-it-all slot, jet sweep wide receiver. Where do you stand on Wicks?
Love Wicks. The coaches call him Devontae Adams. They think he's very similar, which is like, is there a better compliment than that? No, he's going last of the Green Bay wide receivers. So if there's a wide receiver I target, it's him. He's last in that group, and he could pay off the most. In best ball, I've been grabbing him everywhere. I just think even like ahead of value, I'm okay with it. Like in like the underdog leagues, I'm taking him like 10th or 10th, 11th rounds. So getting him in the 14th there is a great grab. I just think I probably like used up my wide receivers early, so that's why I pass on him. Or I would have taken him there. So I thought that was a good grab. I like MJ getting the New England stack there. Gibson, we talked about that earlier. How I think Ramondre isn't a great pick. I think Gibson's a good pick late because if something happens to Ramondre, if Gibson ends up getting the pass catching work, he could put up some points for you every week.
So my decision was firmly between Wicks or Gibson. Gibson would have been more of a need pick because I only have 3 running backs so far. And I love Antonio Gibson just because he has a 3-down skill set and he can be the guy. New England's going to be trailing a lot of games, so Gibson can really be like that, 9 to 12 points, garbage time kind of running back. So I really like him a lot this year, especially. I think this situation is not any worse for him than it was in Washington. You need a tight end also. What's your tight end plan?
I think that's what I'm going to pull the trigger on. We're going to take Hunter Henry action.
Ooh.
I don't hate Hunter Henry. I feel like who's more experienced at catching passes in New England than Hunter Henry right now?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're basically going to be relying on his, 6 to 8 touchdowns he'll probably catch, but then the rest of the weeks he'll probably do a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, you could add. There's a couple other tight ends. I think if you added, maybe only 1 or 2, I really like it all. Jahan Dotson, I really like that pick. It seems like the coaching staff doesn't love him, but I just don't see any competition for wide receiver 2 there.
There's Luke McCaffrey there, the rookie, but we haven't seen anything from him yet.
Dyami Brown's kind of going off a little bit.
Yeah, I do like Dyami, but there's just still not enough there, and the offense just isn't great. Actually, so I really like Tony's next pick there. Adam Thielen, I think, is excellent value. I think he could be, everyone thought he was dead last year, and he came back and had a great season. So I think he can definitely do it again. And he's in a revamped offense.
Yeah, Dave Canale worked wonders in Seattle, and now he is in charge of fixing Bryce Young after he just fixed Baker Mayfield. So I'm digging that. Quentin Johnston, he is the guy that I own on every single one of my rebuilding dynasty teams because why the hell not? What?
I said I feel bad for you.
But why the hell not? He's free. Yeah. I mean,
I'm between 2 guys here. I don't know if I go like unstacked guy or
who are you between?
Deshaun Watson or Conklin. Tyler Conklin here. I feel like Deshaun Watson has such big upside, but he just looked like such trash last year. I have like so much trouble pulling the trigger on him, and I usually like to stack him somewhere, and I'm probably not gonna. So I think we might just take him anyway for the upside. I think it's too hard to pass on him.
There's a stack you could do. Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to take a wide receiver. I got 6 like solid early guys.
Would you consider finishing your draft with just 6? I usually always go 8 or 9.
Um, yeah, yeah, I think I might here. I might go. So there's different for like the best ball bros out there. We got some different draft strategies. For most of them are like 18 rounds. So you've got like the 3 quarterback, 6 running back, six wide receiver, 3 tight end, pretty balanced stack. Um, you've also got another popular one is like the 2 quarterback, 7 running back, 7 wide receiver, 2 tight end, still balanced, and you're going with like an elite quarterback, an elite tight end, and then like somebody else for like the 1 week they don't play, pretty much. Um, and you can kind of like mix that around, and like Chris was saying, he does like the 8 or 9 wide receivers. You can make that work and do go a little less on the running backs. You can go running backs early and go heavy wide receiver later. So it's kind of different ways, different best ball strategies. But for this one, I kind of thinking more along the balanced approach. I think.
Yeah, I usually go running back earlier than most. So I usually end up with 8 or 9 wide receivers just because 3 of my top 6 picks are usually running backs.
Yeah. Max says if New England has anyone to pass the ball, Jacoby Brissett is actually like not the worst quarterback. He's a great backup that has to fill in. I think he should start like the first 6 games or so, or maybe even until their bye. Right? If they starts all the way till 14 and then they're just like terrible, they're like, okay, let's throw in Drake May for the rest of the season and see what happens.
God, someone just took my running back. Pissed. I quit.
That's because you talked about it. You talked about how much you love Roshan.
Damn.
I
It's
like the
okay.
Michael Wilson pick right there by Mike. That's a nice grab.
Yeah,
Number 2
I
wide
was thinking
receiver.
you would try to. Actually, there's someone I like better. Um, I like Greg Dortch a lot. If you have Kyler
Yeah,
as
torch
like
the
a pass round
torch.
dude. I mean, I just like these players that aren't heralded whatsoever, and they kind of came out of nowhere, and but the coaches just every chance they get a chance, every time they get a chance to say something nice about them, they always do. Like they freaking love Greg Dortch there. So
Yeah, and Jake said Darnell Mooney, underrated player. I agree. Number 2 in Atlanta. I think that's a great pick there.
yeah, but Kirk Cousins, he's in the Jordan Addison role. Oh my god, I just got sniped so hard that I screamed.
Nothing
Well,
better than getting sniped in best ball. Get you tilted.
so Bucky Irving was my pick. That sucks. So I only have three running backs so far.
There's another Chicago running back I like better than Roshan.
Herbert.
Yeah, I think he could end up
Yikes.
seeing more work than Roshan could. He's a big dude.
Yikes. 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 Not good. Well, I have one player I know I'm gonna pick. Um oh man. That really hurts. So yeah, I'm definitely going Geno Smith. I don't have a stack with him, but I don't really care. I he, I don't know why in these rankings he's so late because in underdog drafts he goes up around Herbert
Yeah.
area.
Deshaun Watson usually goes in that same area. He usually goes a
Yeah,
lot earlier too.
so Geno Smith, they have the offensive coordinator from Washington that led that Michael Penix offense. So I was thinking about taking Will Levis because I have kind of a stack with Spears, but Geno Smith I think is just far superior there. So that's what I'm going to do. So my next pick, I just need to focus on. I need to focus here on running back. This is bad. This is really bad. Man, I
I've
wanted Bucky.
told you mine. I'd probably go Herbie here. Let's see who else do I
No,
look
I'm
at.
gonna do a
If you want a
little bit.
rookie estimate, maybe.
No, I'm gonna do a little bit more of a swing.
Uh,
So so Damian Pierce is just on a better offense than Herbert, and I think he has the number 2 job. But Cam Akers is playing really good this preseason, so I don't really know what's going on there. But yeah, enough talking about the pick I'm not too happy with. Bucky Irving, I can't stop drafting because I like to listen to the coaches and what they say and what the media says about him. And I think there's a non-zero chance that Bucky Irving at some point in the season is the starter, or at least like the 1B. And he's not getting any draft respect about that possibility. I mean, Rashad White is not a heralded running back. He was like a third or fourth round draft pick. He was a project. You know, he kind of finally popped last year. I don't think I don't think Rashad White is like some bulletproof running back that is absolutely going to take the job the whole year. He had less than 4 yards per carry last year. He's a kind of a one-trick pony in the receiving game. I just think Bucky Irving is like an absolute no-brainer. Not only as a handcuff, but I think he has a role. So just love him.
Yeah, I can't hit on that. I think the only thing I think that is Rashad White just showed he can do it last year. Like last year, nobody thought he was going to kind of blow up that big. He did. Rashad White could just be the Rashad White this year. He could do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely in his range of outcomes. I like him, but I also think Bucky Irving goes so late that he's worth a grab, a bench stash, if you will, in redraft, and just hold on to him and see if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about your Rick taking Rashad Bateman? Because I really don't know what to do about him this year. The coaches are saying good things. They still don't really have a number 2 wide receiver. Do people take chances on him this year?
Man, I mean, if he was healthy, I would love it, but he's been hurt all training camp. So it's really hard for me to say. I mean, this is a do or die year for him. He has not stayed healthy his whole career, but the opportunity is firmly on the table. They did not add anyone in the wide receiver room. They re-signed Nelson Aguilar, who's kind of a deep threat only, and they signed Deontay Hardy to return kicks and kind of be like the Devin Duvernay type. So Bateman is just he has the number 2 wide receiver role right out of the gate. But on the Ravens, that's really like the number 3 role because you have Andrews. But then when you have Henry on the team, he's kind of 4th on the pecking order. And I'd even say Isaiah Likely is going to outproduce him. So
yeah,
I think I just said in a long-winded way, don't be too excited about Bateman. Though on best ball teams where I have Lamar Jackson, I almost always take Bateman.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's same here. That's the only time I've ever drafted Bateman this year is
Rick
if I have Lamar
has
Jackson. Yeah,
so,
to give the little stack with Lamar Jackson.
and he has Likely.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay. I dig that. I dig it. Man, Rick. So Rick has a Amon-Ra and Goff stack, and then a Jackson, Likely, Bateman stack.
Yeah, I'm a little mad at myself. I did not do a good job stacking my quarterbacks. I'm still okay with it. I like the value I got out of them, but I don't really have any crazy stacking going on here. Sometimes it just falls that way, and I'm okay that I didn't like reach anywhere for anybody. But
yeah, I really like Rick's team. I don't really like the Taysom Hill pick too much.
I don't hate it. Like I said, he can if he's playing quarterback at all. If he's getting some rushing touchdowns, there's those spike weeks in there, and that's all you need from your tight end, especially if he's your third.
Oh my
tight
God,
end.
he has the Amon-Ra, Laporta, and Goff.
Yeah,
And
Rick
Lamar.
might blow us all out of the water.
Man, Rick, you get A+ for stackability.
Yep. Let's see. I think I'm looking at maybe a tight end here. Maybe a QB. We'll go QB. I don't know about this guy, but the upside is like too high. So
Justin Fields. Yep, there it is.
yeah, I got Jalen Warren. So it's like a little bit of a stack there. People are talking up Fields. He was like going undrafted until a few weeks ago because Russell Wilson wasn't playing and he started looking good. I don't understand how Justin Jefferson got let go for a 5th round pick. Like nobody else wanted him. He's got legs. He's got an arm. He was throwing to DJ Moore all year. I don't get it at all. People are saying things I don't, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised you went with three QBs. With having, I can see going three if you kind of wait, down to the T Law range or something. But so I guess you prefer to go three QBs in basketball.
No, not usually. I think when it's like a league like this, it's maybe a little more better opportunity. You get kind of better scoring out of three QBs. Whereas if you're doing like a tournament, in that case, I kind of want to go back towards. I'm probably going to take your guy here. I'm going to go back towards the two QBs because in the tournaments you want like the highest possible outcome to like beat. You have to beat so many people. Whereas in this league, you're only playing against 12 guys, so it's a little easier. That's kind of why I went with a 3 quarterback, 3 tight end approach. I do usually like to go for when I get Murray's like the end of where like I'll go 2 quarterbacks, and I probably should have stuck with like Murray and Watson there. And that Fields pick could have been a wide receiver, somebody like Demarcus Robinson or somebody there that's decent, or Dortch you're talking about. Fields moving to X receiver. Yeah, who knows? No, they've liked him in practice so far in preseason and stuff. So he's been moving up draft boards. I think even if he doesn't start, if Wilson's right there starting, if Wilson falters halfway through the season and Justin Fields comes in and has that rushing ability, he could just put up massive points for me at the end of the season, and I'm happy with that. He's a guy where I think he's worth a late round stash and like redraft for your backup quarterback, especially if you have a quarterback with like a late bye week where you don't have to worry about it for a long time and you have extra bench space. Just throw Fields on your bench and see what happens. Trying to see if there's any other guys we haven't talked about that I've kind of like been targeting. Oh, we didn't really talk at all about one of the top rookies is Malik Neighbors. Love him. I haven't got him in the 3rd round. I think that's cheap for Malik Neighbors. I've been snagging him in the end of the 2nd round a lot. I just think he has the exact same potential as Marvin Harrison. He's just in a much worse situation. But New York's bad. They're going to throw a lot, right? It's just a matter of can Daniel Jones actually throw it to him?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So I think the talent is there.
So Jeremy, talk me into a running back. I only have 4 running backs, and one of them is Dameon Pierce, who doesn't really count. So talk me into a running back here. I might even take 2.
I guess I would be going for like a Dylan Laub out of Vegas, or is Alexander Madison? No, he's gone. I was gonna say because like the Vegas situation is murky. I don't like Zamir White this year. I think we haven't seen it from him yet. That's what I'm worried about. He's getting drafted like we've seen. He's a running back 1, and we haven't seen it yet. Alexander Madison, we've seen he's not great. So Dylan Laub, I kind of like a lot this year. He's actually I live in New Hampshire now. He's went to UNH, so right down the road. And they seem to like him a lot. He's a pass catching guy. I'm trying to think who else I've been taking in this kind of late range. Sometimes I take a stab at like Baltimore, Rasheen Ali. You went with your guy Gainwell. You love yourself some Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, I love Gainwell just because he's not a high upside guy, but he's super solid. Barkley has a big injury history. But now he's another week 5 running back, but I get the stack with Hurts. I don't know. I hate my running back room right now.
No, it's a good grab. I would have Gainwell or Shipley is where I would have gone.
Yeah, Shipley's gone.
Shipley's already gone, but I mean, just to stack with Hurts, that's typically what I do. I take one of those 2 to stack with Hurts when I pick up Hurts like late, if I don't get Saquon there. But yeah, Dylan Laub, he's the guy I've been taking at the end of drafts a lot, just because I think he's got a chance to be something. He could be like the Kyron Williams, maybe not Kyron Williams, but like Elijah Mitchell. Is that a better comparison?
Yeah. Murky running back room. I'm just hoping for the best there. Zamir White, not high on him whatsoever. Alexander Madison, mid at best. Wow.
He had his opportunities and didn't make anything happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. I think I ended with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. The 3 tight ends threw me off because I wanted one more. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did the right move when you have like the top quarterback. You don't really need 3. You just need 1 because you're anticipating your top quarterback playing 90% of the time. It's probably what I should have done. I should have just not taken Fields, and I could have gone with a wide out there. Probably should have been my strategy, but
There's a he just went. Never mind. I was gonna say there was a wideout. Instead, if I wasn't in dire need of a running back, I would have taken Jalen McMillan. I really like him.
Yeah, him and Baker both actually. I like the Baker pick too.
Yeah, agree. McMillan's just to me, he's in a better offense, and I think he's going to have that number 3 position on lock, and just nothing but positive news out of camp on him. So, yeah, really like McMillan. And, from everything I'm reading and hearing, McMillan was Washington's number 2 receiver, and until he got hurt. And then Polk kind of took the opportunity and ran with it. But McMillan was the guy. So, if McMillan doesn't get injured, I think he's the 2nd round pick, and Polk is the 3rd or 4th round pick.
Oh, JP. That is who I wanted there. I don't know who I'm taking now. I was sure nobody's going to take him. He's been like my 3rd tight end pick in every single draft because I think he's going unnoticed a lot and just flying under the radar there. I really don't know who I'm taking now. I was sure he was going to fall to me. Never be sure of that.
Parkinson, he got a pretty fat contract out of nowhere from the Rams, and you love when the Rams pay someone, especially a tight end, because Sean McVay loves to feature one tight end. We thought maybe it would be Davis Allen, but I think it's Parkinson. And man, if he has the Tyler Higbee role, that's like free money.
I got 10 seconds. I don't know. I don't like doing a little bit. Well, I've heard a little bit of momentum on this guy. We'll take Dulcich here. It's not my favorite. And he's the same bye week as Henry, but it's fine.
I like that.
You never know. Their wide receivers aren't great in Denver, so
I like Dulcich because his points per game of games that he's actually played and finished is really high. So I like Dulcich. He's a big play guy. Ooh, nice pick with Trey Tucker. Ooh, I like that.
I have not heard anything about Trey Tucker.
So how have you not heard anything about Trey Tucker?
Has not been on my radar at all.
Dude, Trey Tucker is him. He is.
Yeah, I don't know. He's Puka?
Yeah, what? No, he's not Puka. He's a way different player. So I liked Trey Tucker last year, and he didn't really get a ton of playing time till the very end of the year. And like his last couple games, he went off a little bit. And in the preseason, he has like a really long catch in each of their games. I don't know. I think, I don't know how much stock you want to put into Vegas, but dude, Tucker's the guy. He's kind of okay. I'll make my comparison. Trey Tucker is last year's Rashid Shaheed. Same type of player. Think Shaheed, that's Trey Tucker. So he's gonna be the return man. He's gonna be the call it Z receiver, the deep ball guy or like jet sweep kind of guy. So love Trey Tucker. It sucks because you can't really like stack him with Minshew, right? So it's like you feel weird drafting him.
Yeah. But Aiden Connell, I don't know. I gotta say, I wish I'd taken Juwan Johnson there. Tony, that's a good pick. I forgot. I just read today that he's off the PUP list. He's practicing again, apparently. So I actually would have much rather have had Juwan Johnson, I think, over Dulcich.
You know what's crazy is if Juwan Johnson never got hurt and, his injury was never really that serious. If he just never would have got hurt, he's probably drafted
where Taysom Hill went, maybe.
Probably what, 13th or 14th round?
Yeah, I was gonna say a little after Taysom Hill right around there.
He went 4 or 5 rounds later for actually no reason, just because he hasn't played the preseason, but he's a veteran anyway. He's 27, 28 years old. He just got a little banged up. It's really no big deal. So, yeah, love the value pick there to close it out. I like all the tight ends that went in the last round. Theo Johnson is a nice upside tight end. Darren Waller retired. So Theo Johnson could easily earn the starting tight end job there. You just got to worry about how good the offense is. But
I was on him, but I've heard reports of like Bellinger getting some more time and stuff. So I've kind of tapered back off him, and I've started splitting between Theo and Bellinger, who I take. But yeah, I think he's a good pick late like that. I like the
yeah,
Gesicki pick late in the round before that. He's a great tight end to grab. Cincinnati offense. They don't really have anybody else there, tight end wise.
yeah, they just have a rookie, Eric All, who is coming off an injury. But Iowa tight end, tall white dude. Yeah, he's probably good.
I gotta say, I like Jake's late round quarterback strategy there. He ends up with Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Those are three great rotating quarterbacks. You're going to get, good games out of all of them, and hopefully it lines up where each week one of them is the main guy for him. So that's a great strategy there. I think he's the only one that did that. That really went late quarterback. Yeah.
He is. Well, everyone that joined us, I really appreciate it. We've done this every year, I think, for 4 years in a row now on this channel. And it's really fun. Hopefully you got some insights on not only draft strategy, but also players that we like and don't like, and for what reasons. I will say that I really don't like my team. I'll admit it's really hard to talk and analyze other people's teams and then also focus on your team. So I'll use that as my excuse for now. But yeah, but we kind of knew going in the 12 spot, 11 and 12 spot were kind of the worst places to draft this year.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12. It's just tough because that first and second round pick, especially your second pick, is where it's really tough because that second pick, it's almost the same value at the beginning of the second to the end of the second.
Yeah.
So that's where you're losing value there being at the end of the draft. And it's unfortunate, and it's just the way, you just get lucky with where your draft pick is. And if you're in that first 8 or 9, I think you're fine. And then after that, it gets a little tough. Yeah, well, thanks guys. We appreciate all you guys helping us out, helping us put this together and draft. And like I said, I don't think anybody has I feel like usually we can point out one or two kind of not good teams, but I think everybody did a good job. Guys, everybody's teams, they got the right balance going on for best ball. Mike really needs the Bills to have a great season. Besides,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of like my team the least. I think everyone did a really good job. I got sidetracked and
I don't love your running backs except for Tajay Spears, and the Gibbs pick there is fine. And I like Kamara still, so I think that's a good pick. But yeah, I think you waited a little too long on running backs there. I would have taken
I think the Komet pit screwed me up because I should have took a running back here. Oh well, things happen, and we'll see how it plays out. So $20 on the line, $200 the first, 40 the second, and good luck to everyone. And we'll keep tabs on this. Jeremy and I do a weekly fantasy recap show, and I'm sure we'll go back and mention how we're doing in the best ball draft. So
we never said how are we doing the best ball league. Is it just total score at the end of the year?
No,
or are we doing head-to-head?
We'll do a 6 like a normal league, like 6 teams make playoff, and then a bracket from there. A little bit.
So we can follow along and see who beats who each week. And
yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
That'll be more fun than just points.
Yeah.
There'll be matchups each week, and then there'll be a playoff bracket at the end to just differentiate a little bit from the normal underdog leagues. Cool, man. Well, thanks for everyone that joined us. It was kind of last minute. We put this together in like the last 2 days, but yeah, there was a lot of interest, and good luck to everyone. And
Before we go, I guess we got to pick a best team.
okay.
Trey's telling us, so I think that's a good. He says got to be Rick. I think so. Honestly, Rick's stacking is unmatched right there. I got to say, we were talking about it earlier. Getting Goff where he got Goff is great value. I think Lamar Jackson's great value, and then getting all that stacking with Goff, getting Laporta, Amon-Ra in there, getting the Lamar Jackson little.
Oh wow! Look at this. You got one at the end too.
Yep.
Wan'Dale and
got a little extra Wan'Dale Daniel. That's what I was saying earlier. Where I was saying like you can get these really late little stacks in best ball that can really work out for you. Like that can definitely pay off if Wan'Dale ends up being the number 2 there. That can be a stack that pays off for you. So,
the only thing,
and he's stacked with Tyrone Tracy, who I like a lot too. I know there's some injury problems, but they're saying he might be even ready for week 1 now after he had some injuries in the preseason. And while we all know that, who's there? Oh, Devin Singletary is like going to be the guy there, right? He's pretty old. He's been in the league a while. Like we could see something happen, or Tyrone Tracy could come in that spot. You never know. So I like that pick. But yeah, I think Trey, I think you're right. I think it's probably Rick's team there, just with all the sack and everything. The only pick I really am not a fan of is I don't like Kyren this year. I think the risk of him being able to repeat what he did, I think is not as easy as some of the other guys going around him.
Yeah. Kyren and A-Chain. Yeah, I don't know. They're a toss up for me. But yeah,
I like A-Chain better. I like Derrick Henry better. And then I would go Kyren before ETN probably.
The only thing I don't like about is I love Rick stacking. The only thing I don't like is with Sam Laporta, I'm not going to take 3 tight ends. So if he just would have skipped out on Taysom Hill and stacked likely with Lamar, I would have just been perfectly fine with that. You don't need another tight end if you have Laporta. And then when you have Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff, I'm really high on Goff this year. I think you have 2 top 12 type QBs. Why do you need Daniel Jones? So I think he was just like stack hunting here when like Daniel Jones is probably irrelevant to his team.
Yeah, but I don't mind it with the last pick because the value is, your last pick could be a nobody. You could get a 0 there, right? With Daniel Jones, at least he's going to get something. So I don't hate it. I agree with you where normally you would just want to keep those 2 quarterbacks because they're earlier. They're going to be great quarterbacks. They're going to be QB1s. But with the last pick, I'm right.
So if Daniel Jones gets in your lineup 1 week with like a spike week with, 27, 28 points, it's probably worth it, right?
Yeah. Because like otherwise you're drafting McMillan or Baker, who knows they're going to play. Odell Beckham, who knows he's going to play. So that's where you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting to see some of the ADPs where some of these players are going. You can kind of correlate this a little bit to some home leagues because it's going to be, we're all kind of drafting here. Some of us drafting with, our teams in mind and stuff, our favorite players, favorite teams and whatnot. So you can see where some guys go a little later. And typically we were talking about underdog drafting. You see a lot of more wide receivers going early, whereas here the wide receivers went a little later. The running backs get pushed up the board a little bit. But overall, I really think everybody did a good team except for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Riku wins first place team, and I think you win last place team.
Yep, I agree. I sign off on that breakdown. Cool.
I think Tony might win best running backs there.
Yeah, that's solid.
He went those 2 right up top, and then he got a couple others. Ivans is pretty decent too. I don't love Tony's wideouts though. He's Tank Dell and Amari, and then it's kind of like a little after that. I like Thielen a lot though. I think that's a great grab late. I wish Curtis Samuel wasn't hurt. I would love that pick, but
is he hurt?
Turf toe, they're saying, which is like the worst, right? Yeah.
Which means my man Khalil Shakir really gone off.
Oh man, Keon Coleman is the guy to have there. I can't believe Khalil Shakir went before Keon Coleman.
Hey, from the guy that runs a Bills.
I know.
Everything you need to know about it.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, man, yeah, go Mike. Mike went heavy Bills. Gotta love it. I think I like the Kincaid pick. I think he's tight end one this year. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to find
All
a
right.
place to bet on that.
Okay.
I just think, with the lack of weapons and Josh Allen showing that he really likes to rely on the tight end, I just like Kincaid. I mean, he looked great the second half of the year. I'm in on that.
I think Mark Andrews has a better chance than Kincaid.
No way, really?
People like forget how good Mark Andrews is and
Yeah.
like the lack of passing options in Baltimore. Like I just like Mark Andrews went so late. That's like such a great grab in the 5th round. I think Andrews should be going in that 3rd round with everybody else. If that's where all those guys are going, Andrews should be right up there. I've got him ahead of Kincaid, just behind but Kelsey and Laporta should be up there, and then I've got like McBride, Andrews, and then Kincaid a little bit after.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm a Ravens fan, so I like to hear that. Yeah, I guess Andrew's been a little bit banged up, so we kind of forgot just how good he can be when he's healthy. And okay, I'm with you.
That probably
All
should have been
right,
the play for me. I should have grabbed Andrews, and then I could have still got Zay Flowers and got a little Baltimore stack. Maybe, who knows?
that would have been cool.
And then I wouldn't have had to get 3 tight ends late. I could have gotten another wide out or something.
They coulda,
Oh
woulda,
well,
shoulda on these
coulda,
drafts. So
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I know.
Exactly, but it's been fun. It was cool.
Yeah. So Jeremy and I will be on the channel most likely every week, doing some sort of fantasy recap this season, talking about who's really standing out for us, what kind of trades we're looking to make, waiver wire additions, basically anything you can think of about you know what to look forward to in the fantasy landscape. We're going to try to help you out. So check back in at the channel. We'll post when we're going to have a weekly show. I'm guessing it'll be Tuesdays or Wednesdays every week. We'll do a recap of the prior week. So hope you guys can come hang out. And thanks for joining us today. And good luck to everyone in the league. And good night.
Good night. Have a glass of whiskey.
All right.